Event 365. We're going to be talking this schedule. Let's get it ready. Get it in there a couple minutes. Tell your friends. Well, right now I'm sharing this whole broadcast to a whole bunch of different places. You can do the same thing.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabenda from the Detroit Lions, here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah, it's a Main Event 365, and I am your host, Russell Wayne, for the morning phone sessions. And I got my partner in crime right here, the host from our Monday night show, Main Event Mike. How you doing today?
I'm so good. I'm good, Russ, but my knee is a little messed up today. I tried to do the Michael Jackson, Aiden Hutchinson kick when I saw the schedule come out, and now I've torn my meniscus, I think.
You tore your meniscus? I am so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I just got a call from Brad Holmes. He wants me to come and try out because he thinks it's an ACL, and
yeah,
maybe I've got some juice in the tank.
So yeah, that means he can sign you to a long-term deal, right?
That's not maybe a 1 year prove it.
Yeah, don't bet on it. Oh my gosh, they've released the schedule, and how about just let's get your very first reactions of the schedule. Let's not get into any kind of predictions. Give me your first thoughts of the Lions schedule.
Well, we already knew what the opponents were, so to me it come down to when's the bye week, right? And how does that play in? And how many games in a row are we on the road? How many times are we on prime time? Those are the things that you look at first. And all in all, when I looked at the opponents, I mean, you had to play Kansas City sometime. I'm in the camp. I mean, so many people are moaning and complaining, oh, we're going to lose, we're going to be 0-1. But I don't, necessarily believe that's the case. And even if we do, everybody in the division gets KC on the schedule this year. So I'm okay to get them in week 1. Maybe catch them sleeping on us. Yeah, I like it. I love the schedule. I love how it fell to us. The more I analyze it, the more I digest it, I think it's set up for a good season for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I would have to tend to agree with that. I like the matchup with KC. I was talking with GT yesterday from And We Know Sports, and he brought up a really, really good point to me. This is an amazing show of respect by the NFL to put the Lions into this game. I don't believe I mean, we are on a smack talking show, but a lot of smack talkers think they just want to see the Lions just get their faces kicked in the first week. But no, I mean, this is the first representation that anyone's going to have of any football of regular season, and the Lions were invited to be part of that, and I think that has shown just the tremendous amount of way that the organizations came from a culture standpoint.
Right. I think that the schedule looks good for the Lions. Las Vegas has the Lions with an optimistic schedule. The lines have come out today now for the Lions season so far, the early lines. And the Las Vegas has the Lions favored 12 out of 17 games. The biggest underdog the Lions are this year is 6.5 in that first opening week to Kansas City. After that, the biggest point differential goes all the way down to week 17, where they are a 2.5 point underdog to the Cowboys on the road. So they're favored 12 out of 17. They're only a 2.5 point dog in every game but Kansas City that they aren't favored in. So only 2 on the road against Baltimore, 2.5 against the Chargers on the road. So, and also we got some primetime games. Russ, talk about that.
What? A primetime game? Who wants to see us on primetime? Well, obviously we're going to have the Thanksgiving game, which I think is really cool. It's the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving. I think that's pretty awesome that we get them at home on Thanksgiving and our big primetime game. But yeah, they gave us a Monday night game. They gave us a couple Thursday night games and then opening up the season. I mean, enough can't be said about Brad Holmes and Sheila Hamp and Campbell, the way that they've changed everything around, because it used to be you just mark W's next to your team's name when they played the Detroit Lions, and it just isn't that way anymore.
Right. And I also think that having so many primetime games, there's also a Saturday night game in primetime that we're slated for. So when you see so many primetime slots for the Lions, that's just another nail in the SOL coffin, right? These are not the same old Lions. When was the last time the Lions had 4 or 5 primetime games,
right,
when the schedule's released? So it just shows you this team's on the uptick. They are an ascending team, and the NFL's buying in. Everybody knows it. And there's one thing that about this schedule that I haven't heard anyone recognize yet, and that is week 15 at home against the Denver Broncos. No start time has been announced for that game yet. That is going to be a flex option for the league. So if Russell Wilson and Sean Payton can put it together, and if the Lions can be barreling towards a division championship in week 15, that is going to be a nice prime matchup that the Lions will get flexed into another primetime game. And that's something I haven't heard anybody talk about. That is a flex option game for the NFL, week 15, Denver and Detroit. Now, if either of the teams stink in week 15, that game probably won't get flexed, and it'll probably be a 1 o'clock start at Ford Field.
So they're covering, it's a little CYA action going on there by the NFL because they want to keep it entertaining for everybody out there. We got a couple people in the comments, Mike. We wanted to say hi. Trey the Wave, he says, yo, we got a Go Pack Go from Virginia. Virginia in the house. We appreciate you chiming in, my friend. And then Coach Harris Legacy, to Bill the Packer fan, says, I think we had the toughest schedule in the NFL, and this is just my opinion. So, the Packers do have a pretty tough schedule. You were mentioning that a little bit with their schedule in comparison to our schedule, just with the out-of-conference teams that we had to play. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, the way they do it is because we finished second in the division, and the Green Bay Packers finished third in the division. The way the NFL matches it up is we will get the second place team from the NFC East, which was the Dallas Cowboys. They get the third place team from the NFC East, which was the New York Giants. And it's the same with the AFC North as well. We get Baltimore, they get Pittsburgh. Now, where it gets to be a rub is in the NFC West, where we get the playoff team Seattle Seahawks, and they get the lowly Stafford-led Los Angeles Rams. So those are the three games that are different on the schedule this year for the Packers as opposed to the Lions. Packers and Lions will play week 4 and then week 12 on Thanksgiving, buddy. I can't wait for that one. Week 12 at Thanksgiving is going to be awesome against the Pack. And we got a lot of Packer fans that watch us because they come in and they watch us on Monday nights on the NFC North Open Mic Night. And we invite all of our viewers to come and watch us on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're a member of any fan base, we have all 4 from the NFC North represented on the show, and we talk a little smack and we chop it up about football and our teams. So, Packers, Lions, week 4 and week 12.
So let's, Van Ness, this is one of my friends from yesterday that we were talking a little bit about the Packers yesterday. He is a Packers fan. His dad is a Lions fan, so cool dynamic going in right there. Or that might have been the other Bill. And
no, that was that. I'm pretty sure that was the guy with the smart dad.
Yeah, the one with the smart dad. Yeah. So Rob Turva says that Packers will go 3-14. Lions win both. Why don't you put in there? Are you a Lions fan? You just homer in, or are you a Packers fan that actually believes that? Because there are a lot of Packer fans that are out there that aren't really buying into the Jordan Love thing, and really they think they got 2 first-round picks for next year because they want to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes along with all the money that they're going to have because they kind of rebuilt on the fly. I had to give them a little bit of credit for kind of what they did. They ripped the Band-Aid off. It's going to hurt the most right here. This year with the $40 million and all of the dead cap, but the Packers actually have set themselves up to go forward and be competitive. And they've already got pretty good defense. You and I have already talked about that a little bit. Do you think
the Packers are going to be interested in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes?
It all depends on how well Jordan Love does, and this pick that they got from the New York Jets could be a first-round pick, and they could package some picks up and end up coming up and getting one of them top quarterbacks next year if Jordan Love craps the bed like some people think that he might because he's unproven, right?
Right. And let's hope that Aaron Rodgers plays 64% of the snaps in New York, and that remains a second-round pick. That would be outstanding.
Right. Well, of course, we're all rooting for that. But, yeah, let's get along a little bit further on this Lions schedule right here. You thought yesterday, because they had a couple of fake schedules that came out, that it was going to line up a little bit differently. But now, after seeing the way that it lines out, I mean, let's do this game right here. Let's do a floor and then a ceiling. Say, like, if the bottom falls out, let's do that take. And then if everything goes right, how many wins could they get?
Okay. Well, I mean, we're talking worst case scenario, right? We lose the quarterback. If Jared Goff goes down, all bets are off. We don't know what we have on the sideline there with Hendon Hooker. A lot of upside, but we don't know what we've got. I think making a prediction like that is going to be really hard. I think if Jared Goff were to go down, we might be looking at 3 or 4 wins, because
so we can throw
just
that
because we don't know
right now. Like let's just throw that out. Let's just say, okay, obviously, if you lose your starting quarterback, it's going to create a different dynamic. And when you lose that starting quarterback, depending on how quickly Hendon Hooker learns his thing, is when that happens. But let's just say that we're talking about a 17-game season with every game played as Jared Goff. There's no.
I think 9 wins minimum.
9 wins.
I think 9 wins minimum. I got at first glance, without digesting it for too long. I mean, we've only had less than 24 hours to have this schedule in front of us. I see at least 9 wins. I'm going to predict 11-6. The way too early prediction, 11-6.
Right, because I wanted to have a bottom fallout type of thing, and I'm right there. 9 wins. If it starts falling off, and a whole bunch of these guys start trending in the wrong direction, it would take a lot to get to that point. But yeah, I would think 8 would be the absolute minimum, and I could see the schedule lining out to where they could win 13 games at if everything goes completely right.
Right.
All of these guys progress to the next spot because they got some dogs up front. This team from 1 to 53 is, I mean, it stacks up, dude. It stacks
Right.
up with all of them as far as depth.
The bye week comes on week 9 for the Lions. It comes earlier for the Packers. I haven't checked the Bears and the Vikings yet, but we'll have Jameson Williams back if he serves the full 6-game suspension. Then we'll have him back for 2 games before the bye. And so we'll really get a good look. And here's what I really love about all of that. In the first half of the season before the bye, we only have one divisional game, and that's in Lambeau. The rest of the division opponents come after week 10, and we get Minnesota 2 out of the 3 final weeks, and we get the Bears in week 11 and 14. And then, of course, the Packers on Thanksgiving. So I really like that all of the division opponents in those crucial division games are going to come in the second half of the season when we'll really know how this Lions defense is holding up against some of the stiffer competition that they get in these offenses in the first half of the season. So I think we're going to be ready for Justin Fields. We're going to be ready for Jordan Love. And what's that other guy? Oh, yeah, Kirk Cousins.
Right.
So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how, I think we're set up for another second half run, just like the last 2 years. The Lions, with anytime you have a young team, you look at the Lions last year, you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, the game starts to slow down for the rookies. And the second half of the season, they start to surge and they start to play better. And I think you're going to see the same thing this year for the Lions. You're going to see these rookies. Jack Campbell, the game is going to slow down for him at middle linebacker after the bye week. And we're going to see this team surge again in the second half of the season. And fortunately, the schedule is softer on the second half of the season. So I think it's set up for success for the Lions with this schedule.
When I'm looking at it, because I wanted to go find it so I could just bring it up here and share the screen so everybody could kind of look at what we're looking at here. But when I look at this schedule, it's like I think that it's more front loaded for us to start out quickly, right? Other than this Kansas City game right here at the beginning, right? And which if somebody just thinks it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to lose that game, I think that you're an anti-homer too much if you didn't watch the Lions play at the end of last season. They're a tough team, and they will be tough in that game too. But after that, Seattle is winnable at home. Last year we went out there and got into a shootout with them. It's not going to be a shootout again. This team right here, Atlanta, they're good. They're ascending, but that is a winnable game. This is a winnable game. Green Bay on the road, getting them early without the elements being in there. And then we get Carolina at home. That's a revenge game. That is definitely winnable. I could see the Lions, but I could see them going 3-3 or 6-0 during that stretch. It's like it. And just because of the parity of the way that it is in the NFL, that could happen.
I love it. And I know that Dan Campbell is going to be telling his guys that Seattle and that Carolina game, those stick out. Those are opponents that beat us last year.
Right.
Let's face it, Carolina just truck sticked us in Carolina. It was over by halftime. Their offensive line and defensive line just absolutely manhandled us. And I know that the players for the Lions have not forgotten that.
Nope.
And when week 5 comes along and they're going to have a rookie quarterback, I think we got something special planned for the Panthers. Also, the Seahawks in week 2, 48-45 in Ford Field. They beat us. Their punter never got on the field that entire game. They just scored on every possession up and down the field. Our defense could not stop them. And we're talking about one stop and the Lions would have made the playoffs in that game. And I don't think the players have forgotten that. I see both of these games as a revenge. Seahawks and Panthers in Ford Field. I think the Lions win both of these games just for the revenge factor alone. One of our commenters there said the road games look really tough.
Yeah, and they do. Like, I'm not going to deny that. But here's something that we're also not going to do. And if you're a Lions fan, then you'll identify with this. If you're not a Lions fan, you're going to identify with this. But I am sick and tired as a Lions fan to go into this game like this Kansas City. I'm not going to go into this thinking, oh, well, golly gee, we did so good and tried so hard against the Super Bowl contending team, the Super Bowl winning team, and we did it. We were really, really close. I'm not willing to accept that anymore. Because the team has been built and there is no more excuses. All of the players are in the spots. Brad Holmes has done his job. You have to win that game if you want to be considered.
Okay, well, that was your take after the Buffalo game last year. I just want to remind you of that.
Yes, and I'm staying. That's the thing. That's one thing you can't expect from me, even though my takes may not be good. At least they're consistent.
Consistency is key.
That's right. That's right. But I wanted to stress that out, and I see that we're kind of going through the let's just kind of keep going through the season right here. So we're looking through this logically, and honestly, we'll call this a loss. Let's just say they lose the first game, and I think that we will beat Seattle, and I think that we will beat the Atlanta Falcons. So now we're on to this game 4 right here against the Pack.
Thursday night football.
We get them on the road, but we get them early. We usually have this game week 18 in the elements right here. Yeah. So I think that Green Bay is delusional if they think that they're going to come in with a less stronger team and beat us with Jordan Love when they couldn't beat us with Aaron Rodgers. So I think they're going to win that game too.
I don't think they did enough in free agency and enough in the draft to upend what you just said, right? They didn't have enough with Aaron Rodgers last year to beat us. I don't think they do either. And this year they haven't gotten better. I think they've taken a step back. And I think even Brian Gutekunst and the people in the front office at Green Bay are kind of buying into that same narrative just by the way that they paid him.
And here's Van Ness in here, and this is the scary part about the Green Bay Packers. What is scary is that he could be a baller. And if he is a baller and they can pick up right where they left off and then they come in next year with all that money, they could be right back in the thick of things. I agree with you on that. But the Lions are ascending as well, too. We have a bunch of second and third year players that are only going to get better. And that's without us improving our roster, which we did improve our roster a lot. So we got a lot better, too.
Yeah, and it can't be undersold to his point. They would not have let a Hall of Famer walk out the door, push him out the door the way they did if they didn't think they had something special in Jordan Love. But even Peyton Manning had a bad season his first year as a starter, okay? And it's going to be tough, and that Lions defense got remarkably better, markedly better, the Lions defense. So with draft picks and free agency, we're going to be a tough sell for any team, let alone a guy who's starting. Essentially Jordan Love's a rookie. And to our viewers' point, he could be a baller. And God knows the history of the Green Bay Packers in developing quarterbacks is stellar. My entire lifetime, they've owned us, right? So at some point, the law of averages says that's going to turn around. The law of averages says you're not going to draft 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row. So I'm going to play the odds.
But it's not impossible. I mean, if he is sitting back there balling out, but I don't think that the contract that they just signed him to, that extension, shows me that they believe that. Because if they believe that, they would have put their money where their mouth was and bet on him right now as their franchise quarterback instead of extending him at only 13.5 guaranteed, which is, I think it's a very smart move. I think it's a savvy move that is a pro-organization move for the Green Bay Packers, but it doesn't show a ton of confidence into into Jordan Love, but it does show a little bit of confidence in him.
I see one of our viewers says Jets Lions in the Super Bowl. I wonder who predicted that already. That could be Russell Wayne, who already predicted that, but he didn't put that take out there, so I don't want to give that away. But
it came from a place of I watch a lot of Green Bay Packer fans do this, which was right while the trade was going on, as they kept on flipping back and forth. I like Rodgers. Oh, he's a Hall of Fame cornerback. Oh, he's over the hill. And they wanted to go back and forth with that, and they couldn't decide which side of the mountain that they wanted to stand on. And now that he's gone, there's a certain amount of the fan base is like, yeah, he was no good anyway. Stop it. Stop it. If you think that Jordan Love is going to come in and be better than Aaron Rodgers, that would be absolutely crazy to think if that could happen. If you can get 75% of Rodgers, you might be okay from that. And if you put your expectation there, Green Bay Packer fan, then you may not be disappointed. But if you're expecting him to be there, I don't know what to tell you. I've been a Lions fan for long enough, so I know what disappointment is like.
Well, I'll tell you. Let's look at something first. Aaron Rodgers, as great as he is, yes, the Jets have a great defense. Let's take a look at the Jets' schedule for a minute. Okay, they get the bye in week 7. Here's the first 6 weeks of the Jets' schedule. You ready? They open the season at Dallas. Or excuse me, home against Buffalo. Sorry, they get Buffalo at home.
Nice
one of the best teams in the AFC. You got to start the league, right? We get Kansas City, while Aaron Rodgers gets Buffalo. Then they go to Dallas. Then they got to play home against Bill Belichick. Then they go home to Kansas City. Then it's the Broncos, and then it's the Eagles.
Oh my gosh.
It's Murderer's Row. They got Buffalo, Dallas, Kansas City, and Philadelphia in the first 4 out of 6 weeks before the bye. They could be 2-4 going into the bye.
I know Van Ness puts this Jets Super Bowl. Are you sure you don't want to retract that after hearing that message right there?
Yeah.
Wow, what a brutal 6 games right there. That's crazy, man.
Buffalo, Dallas, the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Eagles. That's how Aaron Rodgers gets to start his career in New York.
So let's go back to the NFC North here a little bit. So Van Ness says Van Ness will sack Goff 3 to 4 times, and I got to respond to that. And when I would say that we have Taylor Decker and we have Penei Sewell, who are Pro Bowl offensive linemen. So if you think a rookie's going to come in, good luck. Good luck if a rookie's going to come in and just own our Pro Bowl offensive linemen. All right, that's pretty.
He's clowning. Bold. 3 to 4 times a game?
That's pretty bold against our offensive line. But hey, we're entitled to have whatever takes that you want to have here.
He's on track. He's on track to get 40 sacks.
He also did just say Jets versus Lions in the Super Bowl too.
We want to know what your dad thinks.
Yeah. What does your dad think? I think that he's been listening to his dad. So Rob says you never know which Dallas team will show up.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, Dak Prescott has been the self-proclaimed best quarterback in the NFL for the last 10 years. And
how do you play 12 games and still lead the league in interceptions?
Oh, I meant fantasy football.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, in Dallas last year, we were winning at halftime 10-6. So everybody thinks we got smoked in that game. We did not. We had a bad second half. We were going through that struggle in the first half of the season where we couldn't put 2 good halves of football together. Remember that? We would come out, play great in the first half, or blow it in the second half. Or then against Carolina, we get destroyed in the first half, but we actually outplayed them and outgained them in the second half and outpointed them in the second half.
Right.
So we were in that thing where we couldn't, and same thing with the New England game. We moved the ball up and down the field. We just had problems in the red zone. So I think to the viewer's point, Dallas is a real Jekyll and Hyde team, but I don't know why do we got to play them in Dallas again? Damn it! Can't they come here?
Yeah. I mean, Really, we get maybe they have this thing where they're gonna give us that thing back, right? That thing that they took from us in 2014. Maybe they're gonna get another opportunity, and maybe they can turn it around, and the refs can screw them over instead of them, and they can they give it to us back, right? No.
Stop playing with us.
Maybe not. Okay, maybe I'm in dreamland a little bit right there. But Van Ness, thank you. I mean, this is cool when we can have Packer fans that say you guys are great show here. And I love that we can have actual good banter back and forth. As a matter of fact, speaking of good banter and smack talk back and forth, tell me a little bit about Monday night, Mike.
Monday nights at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the main event 365. Russell Wayne, myself, and guests. We talk about Detroit Lions football, in-depth analysis, and we chop it up about the Lions. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it's the NFC North open mic. All 4 fan groups come into the chat. We get multiple windows set up here on the screen, and we are going back and forth, chopping it up about our teams, putting down our other teams. That's right. It gets kind of ugly sometimes. It's a smack talking arena. So come on in, bring your thick skin. Mondays at 7 p.m. It's open mic, so you're more than welcome to put something in the comments and even get a little trash talk started if you want. But be careful, you might get your feelings hurt.
Yeah, don't bring your feelings, because that's going to be. And Mike, Mike does an excellent job at hosting that show and making sure everybody stays in line, and I can slide back into the wizard role. But I do love that each and every Monday night. That's right. And right now you're part of the phone session, so we're going to start give a little bit of station identification real quick here for 5 seconds. Yeah, that's right. You can follow and like the page. That's the easiest way to support us, or share this content, because we're trying to reach as many people as we can that love to talk about football, talk about their teams. Today, we're basically hashing through most of the Detroit Lions schedule right here, but we will hit all of the other teams in the NFC North this week as well, as I talk to Mike the Bear fan and Bill the Packer fan. But let's get into more of this schedule right here. And we're looking at it. So we got the Carolina, and then after Carolina, we go on the road and face the Tampa, no Tom, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Baker Mayfield.
The Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Fields.
It might be Kyle Trask by then.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the schedule, I think, lines up really good for us Lions right here, because Tampa Bay is in flux right now. I don't think that their team is very good. They've had a lot of turnover, and this is a good opportunity for the Lions to get a road win right there. I think.
And the Lions favored on the road by 3.5 points against the Buccaneers. If the Buccaneers falter out of the gate and the Lions do well, I'm sure that line will move up. I mean, Tampa Bay, they have some great pieces there, but they're not a complete team. I think that's a game the Lions can win on the road.
They should win that game.
I think they should.
That's one that you look at in the forefront. And so when you're looking at the first third of the season right here, I mean, you can argue that they would lose the first game right there, but outside of that, they could be 5-1. 4-2, I would think, and if they go 3-3, I would think it was a disappointment. We are underdogs to the Ravens on the road in Week 7. Yeah, Baltimore's favored by 2. They got OBJ. They signed Lamar now. I think the Ravens are going to be tough. They always play good defense, and Harbaugh's always got them ready to play right there. That would be a game that I definitely think that they could lose right there.
Right.
It's just being in a tough game. I'd be a homer to think that, oh, yeah, we're 7-0 now. Like, no. I mean, come on. No.
I mean, we got the Ravens. That's going to be a tough game. The Packers get the Steelers. So that's going to be not a cakewalk for them. They got better in the draft and free agency as well. Yep. Which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that means that the Vikings will get the Bengals.
The Bengals. That's right.
And the Bears will get the Browns.
Yeah, they probably don't like that. Oh, no. We don't want the Bengals Who them boys? Who gonna beat them Bengals? Right? Nobody. So we got the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. No Derek Carr, but we got Jimmy G in the house.
It's a Monday night football game.
It's a Monday night football game, man. I think we're gonna put the boots to those guys.
We should go to that game, Russ. We should go to the Raiders at Ford Field on a Monday night.
You want to do that?
Man, that'd be awesome.
We're calling it out right now. Yeah, main event's going to be at that game.
Let's do it. We'll do a main event bus. We could split the cost of the bus. That way no one has to drive. We don't have to worry about parking. The bus will drop us off at the door. Maybe we can get some of our viewers to pony up too. Maybe we can get like 10, 12 people, and if we all put in $10, that'll pay for the bus.
All right. So let's give some credit right here to main event Mike. He is planting seeds right here on May 12th of 2023 that the main event might be getting a party bus and taking it to the Raiders Monday night game.
We'll have to go live. Main event on the road.
Oh, heck yeah.
The main event road show.
The road show leading right into the bye. Oh, man, here comes GT's in the house. Let's get him. Oh, he's back there. He's back there. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. He's the slappiest of the slappians. He is Grove Teeth Sir Slap Nasty.
Whoa, hey, fella, I'm seeing blue today. I'm seeing blue like crazy.
Oh, man. But you're wearing red. What's up with that?
Because it's an incredible day. We are living in incredible times, fellas. I had to search for this one.
Right. So what do you think of this schedule, G? I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but tell the viewers how you're feeling about the way the schedule lined up.
It seems to be one of the easiest schedules that the Lions have had in a long time to me. I mean, if it's based on last year and it's based on what I perceive as the draft. You know, you got a lot of young quarterbacks, you got a lot of young coordinators and young coaches that they're playing against, you know, that's going to try to get their stuff going. Yeah, it looks like the first two games are tough, but I think we're going to surprise the Kansas City, you know, celebratory crowd. You know, everybody's going to be hyped from last year, and they're not going to be ready for this speed and this determination from this Detroit Lions team. I don't think. You know,
I would tend to agree with you 100%. But I'm just going to ask you, did you by chance see the Mike Martz breakdown of Jahmyr Gibbs yet?
I have it in my watch later doggone category.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like, I mean.
I told you he reminded me of Marshall Faulk.
And that's what he was saying. He was saying that, you know, a lot of the running backs, when they go in to make their moves, they do this like, hey, I gotta try to fake you out and juke you. He said that this Jahmyr Gibbs does not waste any jukes. He'll come right up onto your toe before he makes the juke, and it's over. Like, he says he does that at such an elite level. He hasn't seen anybody that does it at his level in the last, 10, 15 years.
What it is, as a former running back and wide receiver that had those opportunities and those moments, there are levels. There is a zone, put it that way, a zone of distance between you and the opponent that you're trying to juke, that you're trying to get, that you're trying to elude. And the best cats can wait to the last second.
And that's what he was saying. He was pointing that out, that he could just, and he brought up tape too. That was the other thing is so if you get a chance to watch that, and the viewers, if I could find that, I wish I was more prepared. I would throw that up in there right now.
Well, I gotta ask GT a question if you want to find it.
What's that?
GT, I said I gotta ask GT a question if you want to find it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
So it's we are talking to GT from And We Know Sports, and we're talking about this Detroit Lions schedule. G, I wanted to ask you about what are the ramifications of opening up with the Super Bowl champs in Week 1 on the road? How do you see that shaking out for the Lions? And do you think 6.5 points is the early line? Is that about right?
I would say it would be right as far as the media and as far as, how they look at the historic, value of the teams and what they've done lately and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really a believer in the history aspect of athletics and competition when it comes to the moment right now and the teams that are happening right now. And I think this Lions team wants something like that, not only to prove who they are, but to prove what they can be, And I think this is the number one game. As a matter of fact, I heard that our boy MCDC was on one of the early NFL channels today saying that he called the doggone Kansas City game before it even happened. So
yeah, he was happy about it. He was happy.
Yeah,
he said Dan Campbell was quoted as saying, "Everybody wants to stand up to the champ."
Yeah,
and he relishes it. He relishes the opportunity to be able to face Kansas City in week 1. And I think the best part about it, G, is that everybody gets KC on the schedule this year. We get them week 1, and we might be able to catch them off guard and get off to a good start. What are your thoughts on that?
That's my feelings exactly. I feel like it's going to be celebratory. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are really good when it comes to celebrating after the game, but celebrating before the game about stuff that happened last year, it could have you a little, in a different zone.
Well, I will bring us down a little bit and tell you that all Super Bowl winning teams since the year 2000, they win the first game of the following year. 19-4 is their record in the last 23 years. So the odds are against the Lions, and so is the line.
That a lot of that stuff was BC. You know that was before Campbell, right?
That's right.
So, and now, just so you know, while you did ask that question, you answered that question beautifully. That I was able to find that. I was able to throw that into the comments and Bill the Packer fan and Main Event 365 Hallis Hall report and the Minnesota Vikings page. So if you want to see the Mike Martz breakdown of Jahmyr Gibbs, it's in there for you. So we're just here to help.
Yeah.
GT, you need some drywall repair there, buddy?
I do.
I'm the man. You know I'm the man.
We got a real nice, big, huge fixer-upper. So, yeah, I need all the help I can get.
All you got to do is call me, G.
Okay.
I got you.
All you got to do is call me. Oh, my gosh. So let's go a little bit further onto this screen right here. I'm going to see if no, I don't want to put that one in. Oh, shoot. I got to add a different one.
What do we got in the comments, Russ?
So we got Rob that says Lions will give KC a better game than people think. KC had issue stopping the run, and Detroit gets their run game going early, can control the clock, and they can beat KC. We were talking about that earlier, Mike.
That's a great call out.
That's
the best way to beat Patrick Mahomes is keep him on the sideline.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. But that has been the recipe for decades when it comes to great quarterbacks.
That's right.
We've just that's why I have been a proponent of campaigning for running backs and offensive line, because that's what keeps them on the sideline, running that clock. So yeah, absolutely. I truly believe that too.
Yeah, I have to go there. So man, I gotta find my schedule again. So what comes up? Do you have the schedule right in front of you?
I do.
So what comes up after we got through Baltimore, right? So
Baltimore is week 7, and then we get week 8. It's a Monday night game, GT. The Raiders coming to Ford Field on a Monday night.
That's where we
week 8, we're talking about getting a bus and going down, taking a bunch of Lions fans down to see the Raider game.
That sounds like a great move. Again, I'm only like 5 to 7 minutes from that spot.
Right on.
So y'all can stop here, or we can go together. It don't matter. I'd love to be a part of that.
So we're taking the bus to G's house. That's right. Oh, that's going to be what a fun season that is. And then right after we go to the Monday night game, then we're going to get a bye. They're going to get ready to come back on that following, and then they get the Chargers away. Is that? And that's on.
Yeah.
That's a Sunday. That's a Thursday night game, I believe.
Yeah, it's about 5 o'clock too. 5 o'clock our time.
So after
No,
the
that wouldn't be
bye-
right. Oh, if it's a 1 o'clock start, no.
No, it's about 4 or 5 o'clock. It's a later game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after we have a bye, we're going to come in here and we're going to go to the West Coast and play the Chargers. And we're not notoriously a very good on the West Coast type of team. I mean, that actually is a scarier game right there, having Justin Herbert. That's one of your boys right there, GT. I know
Yes,
that
he
you like
is.
him. So,
That was BC.
That was BC. But, I mean, we can be homers and we could say they're going to go 17-0 in this season. So we got to find a loss in here somewhere. And I think that's a tough – but we are coming off of a bye, so it is a winnable game.
I think we lose on the road to Baltimore. Let's talk about that, guys. Let's talk about games you see as a definite loss. And I know that, Russ, you don't want to call anything a definite loss with this team. But let's be realistic. I mean, on the road to the Cowboys, on the road to the Ravens, I'm going to give those two an L. Those are L's for me. I'm sorry. What do you got?
I'm in the boat there. I mean, KC could be an L. The Baltimore could be an L. The Chargers could be an L. I think that the Bears on the road in Soldier Field are going to be really, really hard this year, especially getting them late like that with that young team. If they start gelling, they could be a tough team.
Yeah, we will. We get them in we get the Bears in week 14 in Chicago, but we get them at home in week 11. So if we beat them in week 11, they're going to be chomping at the bit on week 14 to get revenge in that game.
Yeah, I think the best that anybody in the North does with us is splits, but I think there also is that possibility that we sweep the North this year. And I said it. I think that we could sweep the North this year. Honestly, I think that they have to bring that to us. Like, I think they would have to bring that to us to think that they could even beat us. Like, what have you done to improve your team? We're definitely better. And we were 5-1 against the division last year. So, I don't know.
I had a tough time, guys, because last time I predicted the Lions 23-24 season, I was with you guys. And I think I said with 12-5 or something like that. And I could only get 13-4.
All right.
I mean, I worked on it. I looked at it. I did it over and over and over. And the 4 losses are Seattle, Baltimore, San Diego. Seattle, Baltimore, San Diego. Oh, so it's 5. Yeah. So I got 12-5 again. Minnesota and Dallas.
Oh, he thinks we split with Minnesota.
Yeah,
I think that's the only team we split with.
Yeah, we lose in week 18 in Minnesota because we've already got the division wrapped up, and we're sitting Goff, and Kirk Cousins is out with a broken tibula from 2 weeks before, where Aiden Hutchinson got him in the backfield.
And then
the last game we're at home. The last game we're at home, Mike.
Right, we're resting Jared Goff for the playoffs in that game.
So I'm actually picking that we lose to Minnesota. When we're
in Minnesota.
Yeah, in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
Russ, I got to jump up here. I'm gonna hand it off to GT from Man We Know Sports, and I bid you all a good day, and we'll see you all on Monday.
Thanks for popping on, Mike.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna call you too.
All right.
Right on. So that is it. That is main event Mike. Came on to talk a little bit about this Detroit Lions schedule. And, man, it's so exciting. We can't even get through half of this thing right here. But when you're looking at the schedule, you look at a lot of these teams, and they're just not what they were. You know, when they're different. You know, like take these New Orleans Saints, right?
Yeah,
I mean, who's going to be there? Is it Winston? Is it who's playing QB?
They got the little brother Carr, Derek Carr.
Oh, that's okay. That's right. So they got Derek Carr, and they have a pretty good defense. That is on the road. That's another one of those scrap. I knew I was missing something there. Mm-hmm. So That's a good defensive team right there. That's a team that sneaks up on people, and it didn't matter who was playing quarterback for them last year.
Yeah.
And I do think the Bears are a lot better this year. It's like you had all that money, and they're coming in.
Yeah. I think a lot of teams got better, Russ, but it's one of these things like, okay, the Lions were here last year, Chicago was here, and so everybody got better.
Right.
That's how I look at it. Yeah, Chicago got better, but I don't think they're going to be able to deal with our getting better at the same time.
And I feel that. I can echo that because we had a 9-8 team that had a very depleted, very bad secondary. That was the team that finished the season that I don't think that a lot of teams would have want to faced if we would have gotten to the playoffs. No. And then you add in Sutton, Mosley, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Brian Branch, and that's where the improvement was. It's like we already could rush a passer.
Yeah.
And one thing in Detroit that I'm kind of, and you can touch on this if you want to, is the edge rushing, the illusion that we need edge rushers. We didn't need to draft an edge rusher. We could have stand pat. We are so deep. We are the deepest team at rushing the passer in the NFL right now, and there isn't even a close second. Romeo Okwara is our third pass rusher. That dude could start on any team in the North not named the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers have a very deep defensive line. He probably wouldn't start there, but he would definitely start on Chicago. He would definitely start on Minnesota. He'd start over Davenport. He's a better player than Davenport is. So we're incredibly deep.
Who was the young cat we just signed from, San Diego or something?
Oh, you're talking about Covington? Yeah, I mean, he
looked like he got some nice tape on him, just depth. I'm not talking about a starter, but, just adding
and that's
on
it. It's competition, man. I mean, it's going to be hard to make this Lions team. I mean, I liked the signing because anytime you sign big men, you're doing a good thing, but that doesn't mean he's going to make the team. He's going to compete. So, I mean, I'm not going to get too excited about it, but if he makes a team, good job, man.
Yeah.
But I think that secondary, those moves that we made are going to help the pass rush even more than it did last year.
Yeah.
This rookie tandem, whatever, all the rookies together, we broke the record of sacks by any draft class in history. So you add that to where, I mean, here's a good question for you as an ex-player. How much of a difference? So let's say our secondary could give our pass rushers an extra second or 2 seconds to rush the passer. How big of a difference is that?
Wow. I mean, you're talking about like an extra second is a long period of time on the football field. When you talk about a 40 time, a 4-4 versus a 5-4. I mean, it's so much, man. DBs, it's extremely hard to check a pro wide receiver for longer than 2 or 3 seconds.
Right.
It really is. So. You definitely want to minimize how much time, how much comfort a quarterback has. And I've always said the DB's best friend is that D-line,
right.
And vice versa.
Right. So I think that from what you're saying is there's a good possibility that these drastic improvements that we made in the secondary may make a huge difference in the sack totals for our guys on either end. And I think that's where we become the most dangerous, is the fact that the rotation will never stop bringing you guys that can ball. So we're up against it, G. Man, we did it again, man. The phone sessions, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everybody out there in internet land that is watching, especially you, Van S. Van S OFT, what's on 9 right there. He's one of our favorite Packer fans in there. His father is a Lions fan, so he grew up like that. So, but for me, the producer, Russell Wayne, and Grove Teague, and Sir Slap Nasty from And We Know Sports, this is the Main Event 365. God bless you, and we will see you on the flip side. one pride.